So international Wi-Fi. So I'm just gonna come on really quick to part two. So I like to reframe it as weight release, because your body has a natural intelligence, right? It knows how to adjust itself to a healthy, normal, natural weight. However, there may be different things that we're doing or not acknowledging because we're not present. So we may not be present to the exorbitant amounts of fuel, even if they're healthy, that we're putting into the body, healthy and unhealthy. If they're not, if they're substances masquerading as food, we may not be educated enough into the, and we may not be feeling the impact of the effects of the things that we're using to soothe ourselves and to make ourselves feel better. So when we get out of the way, when we learn how to get out of the way, right? Because a lot of these things, we throw these terms around, these new age terms, and it may seem, again, so logical and makes sense. But if we look around, the vast amount of the population, it doesn't seem to land. It doesn't seem to compute. How do we get out of our way? We may not even realize how we are in our way, because a lot of stuff is not logical. We're dealing with the subconscious, old traumas being looped, things that are triggering our emotions, so that when the emotions are triggered and we're very uncomfortable, the first thing we want is comfort. We want comfort. We don't embrace safe discomfort, if that makes sense. So I just wanted to come on just to share that. We may not think, right? Which is kind of like a catch-22, or a kind of flip side of the coin, that the things that we're doing to soothe ourselves in that moment while we're doing it, it feels like it's so soothing. This part of us is like, oh, I feel better now. Kind of like, just like drugs, really. Like, at the same time, there's something that we're not dealing with, avoiding, that's not being resolved. And there's also a part of our psyche and our consciousness that is very well aware that we are avoiding and not dealing with something. And that so subtle nagging is a big root of our low esteem, because we're not in integrity. We really know that we're placing ourselves, our body temples, in harm's way, sexually, health habits or non-health habits. But if you look at it, you can get a high five and an amen corner from most people for vices. So what does that say about the society? We come together for vices, and to self-soothe and to medicate in groups. And I'm not here to demonize or to pass judgment, because I was a junk food junkie, which to me, people may not, if you don't appear to be apparently massively overweight, then you don't get as much of a focus or an eye. So me working with people that are quote unquote bulimic and that quote unquote look normal was very, very humbling, because again, you're looking at people that may look fantastic in terms of their body or cuts or makeup, and you can't see what people are going on, what's going on in their personal lives. You can't open up their brain and see what's going on, especially if they appear so-called normal. But it may not really, in that moment, the impact that the self-sabotaging, an ant is biting me on my boo-boo, that the self-soothing habits that we have are a big source of our low esteem. And so sometimes I don't think I'll even say too much more on that. I think just to sit with that, not to run away from it, not to demonize, kind of just like with meditation, rather than judging and running off with the thoughts. Just sitting in observance of that can be huge. Just like when we sit for the deep breathing, I notice that with the simple, even short, deep breathing, I can notice almost like I'm here and I'm observing, I'm aware of my thoughts, and I can observe my awareness almost running off to a separate part of a movie theater, like to see the thoughts on the screen. Like I become much more aware that I'm observing the thoughts, just in simple deep breathing. So this is not something that we do in school, although I will say there has been more efforts to introduce yoga and meditation into schools. I think that a lot of this should come primarily from what we're modeling. I think it's very important so that even things like yoga and meditation don't get, or simple practices don't get co-opted by other agendas. Hey, greetings over here from Salcus Ray's channel. Greetings, Jai Existence. Oh, that's wonderful. I love me some Salcus. I love me some Salcus. She is a pleasure, and it is so just to have Afro women that are courageous enough to share their gems and their common sense. Oh my gosh, I'm so grateful. You know, I'm so grateful, and I think, you know, in our 20s and our 30s, I know I was hungry for information and insight, common sense. I do think we have to be careful in this day and age, because the mentality of like a cult following, like so many people, so many of the population, we're triggered and desperate and without guidance. So it makes us really open to being manipulated in the political realm, the religious realms, by social media personalities. Your pleasure. I'm so happy I found my boss's buddies virtually. Listen, look at here. Before this whole internet thing popped off, just intuitively, I have always been aware, like if those people that have a similar interest in terms of what I'm looking for, not perfect by any means, I don't expect perfection, but if the people around me are not interested in exercise, fitness, personal development, if the folks around in my circle, not to make them wrong or bad, because people are doing the best that they know with wherever their head is at, you know, but if they don't have an interest in financial literacy or travel, then it's my responsibility to find those folks and draw those relationships to me. Certain things that, you know, I may not get from my mama, but I take the gifts that my mom gave me. Oh, from the tri-state area too. Okay, you have locks. Hey. Look, I could rock a baldy bean. Well, that's what they call it. It wasn't a nice term. It didn't feel good when I was being called it. But a very short peach fuzz cut, double strand twist, whatever. I feel absolutely in my element, in my skin with my hair. And I have also learned throughout the years, I've learned, you know, not to be judgmental of someone that is stunning if their hair is straight or whatever. It's just not that time. I could care less. I could be missing out on something. My main priority is my love of self. I'm working on the health and aspect of healthy eating. So I'm all about the healthy eating. It has been a passion of mine for many years, and that's because I've come from a history of morbid obesity. I didn't know the word obesity when I was coming up, but I saw patterns, and I was like, how did the women in my family go from this naturally to this? And as I educated myself and I followed the pattern, I related that, as well as all the substance abuse, to trauma. And with all the religion, I found for many years that certain life skills and tools and mental health skills and techniques kind of got a religious bypass, right? They weren't really dealt with. But that's what a lot of, you know, the other generations, what they had to deal with. You know, and they had their strengths as well. So I'm a baton passer. I'm like, I take the best that they had to offer, those elders, and I recognize things that may be dysfunctional or not working for me. I take the best and I leave the rest. So I don't hold myself or hold them hostage, you know. Don't hold them hostage. But I know staying in this triggered trauma state is a big part of what is keeping many of us overweight, first mentally and emotionally, and then it's a natural symptom, a manifestation of where our head is at. And we may be holding on to righteous rage. I get it. You know, so much has been perpetrated upon us, males and females. I don't know that it's a competition who's been jacked up the most, but I know that my intention is to experience joy on this plane, because I don't have no guarantees of what's coming in the afterlife. I'm interested in this plane. And so if there is an afterlife, there would just be a continuation of this life, right? So I'm interested in maximizing my potential now. Doesn't need to be perfect, but I have different things I want to see. I like waterfalls. I've liked the fact that I've been able to see certain mountaintops. I really enjoy reciprocal relationships, and I enjoy being appreciated, and I enjoy the best of what other human beings have to offer. So I want to be present to experience that. I love to play, to be fit enough to play in my body, and to, you know, the fact that I could go to a hip hop class, you know, with my son and ride across the bridge on my bicycle and do capoeira and other things. So I can't be all distracted and enraged at the same time. You know, it's a lot of the energy and the weight is a symptom of a mental state, and it's a tremendous siphoning off of energy. There's a lot we're missing out on. So I make the effort, however imperfect. I'm rocking with the imperfection so that I can experience different, something different that I feel good about without waiting, right? I'm the person, I'm not interested in waiting for somebody to ask me to dance. I will get on the dance floor and dance by myself. And I think that energy attracts and draws other things to you. So I got lots of tasks to do. I wanted to touch in today and continue on this path of using what we have and loving ourselves to the next level. And yes, if you got big curvaceous hips and stuff, you love yourself now. There's a shaming of ourselves, that is not beneficial. That is just not beneficial. So I'm sending you all some warm, positive vibrations. If you're interested in going into the cocoon, right? Into the cocoon, because I'm encouraging women and Afro women, folks, but especially Afro women, to go what I call ghost, and to go in and to really maximize this time to feed yourself. There's a word for it, but I'm calling it the cocoon. Feed yourself the best, most beautiful, water-rich, nutrient-dense foods, and beautiful and delicious, right? And then also nourishing yourself with the bitter herbs, cultivating a taste for bitter herbs, and cultivating a craving for quiet, and starting a garden, and getting your movement practice on, understanding if you have any knees or back issues, how you can address those issues so you can get, you know, addressing all the excuses you have to not get into action around what you say is important to you. And we need a healthy, functional, vital body temple to do that. So if you're interested in the cocoon, you're welcome to reach out and message to me on the website, on bodyculinary.com, so you can be alerted as to to how to participate. So y'all all create a great day on purpose because you said so. All right, I'll see you soon. Oh, feel free to subscribe to the channel, maybe perhaps share it with someone who could benefit, and feel free, don't feel no shame about creating company for yourself, right? Replay this while you're decluttering, while you're cleaning, right? Cleaning can really change your whole mindset, but create some good company for yourself. Don't feel no way about creating some company for yourself, some positive. Create your circle of influence, right? Create your circle of influence so you're being mindful of what's going into your orifices. All right, see y'all soon.